Now you can try to pick me up, put my shoes on first.
What about?
Yeah, hold on, I'm about to tell y'all the story. Hold on.
Yeah, tell me.
They put my shoes on. He gonna try to up this. Let me get there. You ain't gotta follow me. They said let me get on the line. About Udi. Then
I swear you're that.
I gotta die by that. You told my shit.
Give me my phone.
Damn, bitch.
Give me my
I
phone.
gotta die if I tell what happened.
Give me my phone.
That's crazy, y'all. I ain't really gonna die behind this, so y'all won't know that tea right now.
Give me my phone.
Mark done got quiet. Where he at? He right here. He getting mad. He don't like the truth coming out.
Hey everybody, this is your girl, Miss Motivational Mogul Mindset, Ava Cherie, the Inspire. So first and foremost, I was hesitant to do this topic because everybody has seen it. It was fresh. I've also read through numerous comments and seen the Frenchman's brother and other family members speak upon it. And so some of the videos have been blocked, but people will put them in the comment sections on Facebook. And what you have to do, instead of reading the most relevant comments, you have to click the tab for all comments. And I'm only saying that so you can get background input from different parties that was closely related to this situation. And I really, really felt bad. I really felt it was hard for me to digest what was happening because of what I was watching. I've seen like 14 videos back to back of all of the information that was shared by the Frenchman before this actually got to the last untimely demise of both of them. So a while back, God had gave me a revelation on social media and how the enemy uses it as social warfare against us. In this case, I think that's exactly what happened. I never heard of these people. I never followed them, but they obviously had a big following. They obviously were accustomed to airing each other out on social media, using it as a popularity platform, using it as streams of revenue, and for whatever other reasons they choose to use it. When I seen it, I felt saddened. When I was watching it at first, I didn't even know they had passed. So when I was watching, the Frenchman in the kitchen talking about all of the sexually transmitted diseases, her being caught having relations in the house, him having relations with other people, I'm only looking at it from the lens of whether or not I'm going to do an unpopular opinion accountability reaction video. And I prayed about it, so I didn't hear anything. So as the days went on, I started to get more information. So I want to do this because I have a daughter, I have sons, I have many millennials that I coach that consider me very close and trustworthy. And I'm going to preface this that in all my efforts to be transparent, I want to say that it could be any one of us. The moment I started looking at or feeling in my spirit this whole situation was intensifying, not knowing the backstory of violence, I could already see the emotional interrogation towards one another, the emotional antagonizing towards one another. And I was like, this is a very violent situation, or it has the potential to escalate very quickly. And I could see the smile when he was talking, being jokeful. He was drinking. And then I started reading the comments that that's just them. That's what they do. That's their love language. So it wasn't until after the fact when I heard what had happened that she was actually on the phone with a friend. So I'm asking God, which way do you want me to go into this? So I was going to go from a perspective of not playing games with one another, being respectful, getting out of a social space of airing each other out, leaving the house or the environment when things get that heightened. Stop making that a normal. That was my perspective. That was the lens I was on. That was the page that I was turning. I'm like, okay, when do we as adults know when to cut it off? Kids don't even know, but when do we know as adults to not air this out? And it was so much information that were found out that they were admitting to socially that was enough. They shouldn't even been in the house together. However, we don't have no say so, and I'm sure plenty of their family members had their input. I just find it very distasteful and hurtful to watch the smiles behind both of them. Whether it's deranged, they're desensitized. They lack in empathy for themselves and others. They're jokingly smiling about very hurtful situations. When I look at people, I hate to say it, but when I first moved to the tri-state area, I worked in a psych ward. Some of the crazy people sit and smile all the time. Ain't nobody in the room with them. You going to check them, doing a med check or something, welfare check, and they sitting there smiling, rocking back and forth. So you don't have to be an expert to know if the conversation is not matching joy, peace, kindness, and love, and patience and self-control. That smile is sinister. That smile is tick, tick, boom. It's about to go down. Sometimes people are very quiet and you don't even know where it came from. You didn't even think it was heightened or escalated. But in this case, it clearly was. As I completed watching it, and it took me some time, I reflected on the time that I was choked twice. The one time I was choked off my feet, I clearly heard, "Be still. He don't even know that he can kill you." When it happened, I investigated and researched how long does it take before you cut off all circulation, before the oxygen stops flowing to your brain. Matter of seconds, up to 0 to 4 to 5 minutes. But in between, it could take 30 seconds for you to lose consciousness or less. It just depends. And as I was off my feet in the air, Holy Spirit said, "Be still." And so I just started. And I calmed and de-escalated myself. And I said, "You don't know your strength. You don't know what you're doing right now. Let me down. You're fighting a demon from within." But I was so calm. And I said, "Please put me down. You don't know your power right now. This is not you. You can kill me. I can't breathe." After that situation de-escalated, and of course there were apologies, I told that person, God spared you and I clearly heard that whatever anger, whatever trauma, whatever abuse that's in here, what you've told me has happened to you that has never been dealt with, you're now raging whenever you get a chance. Crazy part is they don't look like a fighter. They look like a geek. They look like a nerd. They look like they might not do it. It wasn't the case like what we seen with the Frenchman and Duchess Dior. My situation looked completely opposite. But you can't underestimate anybody, male or female. I knew that that was Satan's clutches, because what the argument was didn't even correlate to that type of reaction. Whatever was said was trying to silence the truth, because we literally were talking about deliverance. We were talking about toxicity, lying, held accountable. And that thing want to put its clutches in you to shut your mouth. Another time, I swung and I was thrown by my neck. And to this day, I have damage on my neck, the stem going to my brain. And that wasn't anything to do with my previous issues neurologically, but it didn't help either. Now, neither time I didn't call the police. And as I was reading through the comments, a couple people said the police was parked up the street from these people's house. I don't know. I guess because there were so many occurrences that she didn't feel like she needed to. He didn't feel like he was going to go that way. This is what they do. Listen, when the enemy is all up and through, corrupting your relationship, corrupting your conversation, it's corrupt when it comes out your mouth, and it's vile when it's poison towards one another. When you feel like you just got to air this out for millions of people to be talking about to this day. There is an absence of the Holy Spirit. There is an absence of God in that relationship. There is an absence of wisdom from people that can hold these people accountable, that Of course, you could tell somebody to leave, but they stay. There is an absence. There is a festering of sin. There are open doors that Satan has brought his strong men back, and they have claimed the territory. And for whatever reason, each one of them go back to one another. We'll never know why in any situation. But young girls and young men and men and women of all ages, this is toxic. It never gets better. These are the things that you can't resolve. If you can't do conflict resolution, if it's just what it is and that's just how we are, it's not freaking cute. And it's no number of views, likes, subscriptions, or nothing else that can get you another life. Nothing. Nothing. You can get another house, a car, a man. You can even have other children. But if you are messed up here where you think that this is absolutely okay, or when you subject yourself to just being in the midst, or if you're too scared to leave, social media ain't the outlet. Because you see this a lot. This ain't the first couple this happened to. It is not. You've heard about TikTokers who've unalived one another. Listen, this is a vice. Check out the related video about the social media being a vice of the enemy. Like, he runs social media. In all of this, my reaction is more compassionate, empathetic, for each of us to learn our value, our worth, and when a relationship no longer serves a purpose, I don't care who it is, and get out. And stay out, and don't gamble with something or someone that you don't even understand, because you neglect yourself. You're neglecting your own understanding of what you deserve and what you should tolerate and what real love really is. That's not it. God's peace to you, God's best to you, God's healing to anyone that's going through this. Call your local agencies, call 988, call resources in your state, call for help. Even if the first step of help is going to get therapy once or twice a week, getting that time so you can get your understanding, get the decluttering process started, so you can set an action plan to get out of there, to understand why you're there, to get out of there. That time away, if you have somebody that wants to know your whereabouts all the time, you're going to the doctor. Some people don't clown at the doctor. Some people do. So do everything you can, but staying in that person's face and space of toxicity. You got to go to the therapist 3 times a week and get a note signed like you a kid on a field trip. Get a note signed saying you were there, but you're getting help and moving in the right direction. Sad part is, a lot of us stay, a lot of us go, a lot of people come back. When you've had enough, when you're tired, when you got the right help, you started the process of healing, you set up a divisive plan, you have actionable steps that you can execute. Hopefully and prayerfully, everybody gets out on the other side. I know I did, and I thank God for that. A millisecond could take your life. One instance, 2 instances of violence is enough. Even if it's physical, verbal, mental, spiritual, financial, whatever. Listen, get up out of there. Because certain people, male and female, you're going to fight to the death match. Women can't beat a man. But I've read and seen enough in my lifetime that I've seen women unalive them. So it's on both sides. It's just how fast, who gets to it quicker. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it at all. But you are worth way more than that. We are. All of us are. God's love and God's healing to you. This is your girl, Ava Cherie. Be inspired.